Hi everybody, Mix Morris here, and today we are going to be talking about character traits. So, you can see in this image here that I have taken from the movie Inside Out. It gives you an idea of what character traits are, which are what we use to describe the actions, the thoughts, and feelings of a character. So, these characters all really look like the emotion that it says. So, disgust looks disgusted, fear looks afraid, joy looks happy, sadness looks sad, anger looks angry. And they all have different colors too that you kind of think about when you think about these things. So, today's objective is I will be able to make inferences to identify each character's traits. You might be thinking, what's a character trait? A character trait describes how a character acts. So for instance, you have somebody here giving a woman her groceries, doing the shopping for her so she doesn't have to go out, showing he's kind. Thinks, the thoughts that come into their brain. And feels. You can tell that all these characters are happy, they're jumping up, looking good. Some examples of character traits include this list right here. So afraid, angry, bold, fair, evil, fun, funny. There are all kinds of words. They're all adjectives, which adjectives basically means a word that describes someone or something. So, angry, charming, brave, foolish, all adjectives, all character traits that we use to describe our characters. To find out what traits a character has, we have to make an inference. I like to use this little image whenever I talk about making inferences. It's a little detective, because we're like detectives when we make inferences. You might be thinking, what's an inference? An inference is a guess we make about a text based on the information we read and the knowledge we have. So, what we read in the text, plus what we think about. So, you might read in a text that someone decides that they are going to run into a classroom. They're running in as fast as they can, they drop their books all over the floor, and the teacher asks them to pick them up and get into class and starts telling them, like, you gotta get in here earlier. So when we read that, we can tell that the character is in a big rush. They are trying to keep track of everything but are having a hard time. And we might think back to some knowledge we have about times when we've felt late or we've seen other people be late. And we can think to ourselves, wow, this person must have a lot going on. They must have a lot on their plate right now, so it's hard to, get places on time. So, let's look at an example of how we can make inferences about a character's traits. For today, we're going to focus on comic strips instead of plain text, and there are 4 steps we will follow in order to make inferences. Steps are, 1, read the comic strip. We're using comic strips. 2, reread the comic strip and underline or circle details. 3, describe what the details you circled and underlined show you about the character. And 4, combine what you read with what you know in order to make an inference about which character traits the character is showing. For instance, we have this first comic strip here. I'm going to read it. John. You can see that the characters have a little name label, so you know who's who. John says, Garfield, wake up. He wakes up. You slept away the entire day. Garfield thinks, I did? This year is off to a good start. Now I'm going to reread the comic strip and circle or underline details that show how Garfield is acting, thinking, and feeling. Garfield, wake up. You slept away the entire day. So John is pretty upset because they're saying that he slept away the entire day, so we know that Garfield, his action was that he slept the entire day. And he thinks this year is off to a good start. Plus, he's smiling. Now we'll describe what the details we circled and underlined show us about how Garfield is thinking, acting, and feeling. So Garfield is smiling and thinking about how his year is off to a good start since he slept the whole day. So it's clear that he's feeling pretty happy about it. He's pretty pleased with himself. Now we combine what we read and what we know to make an inference. I read that Garfield the cat was sleeping all day, and that he feels like he's happy because the year is off to a good start. I know that sleeping all day and being happy about it usually means you're lazy. So the inference I'm going to make is Garfield the cat is happy and lazy. Those are the two character traits I'm going to use to describe him. Let's see one more example. In this comic strip, Spike, you can have the rest of my berries. Gee, Benny's sharing? I guess he's learning to be nice. So you're the one who took my berries. Reread the comic strip and circle or underline details that show you how Benny is acting, thinking, and or feeling. In this part, he says, Spike, you can have the rest of my berries. I'm circling him, handing them. Spike is saying, gee, Benny's sharing. I guess he's learning to be nice. I'm going to underline that because it shows that he's being nice. So you're the one who took my berries. And while this guy is attacking Spike, Benny is hiding behind a tree watching. Circle that. And to describe what the details I circled, underlined, show about how Benny's thinking, acting, and feeling, it's clear that Benny gave Spike the berries in this image because he stole them and wanted to have Spike get in trouble instead. So Benny didn't want to get in trouble for stealing the berries. He wanted Spike to get in trouble. So I can take what I read, which is that Benny gave Spike the berries, so Spike would get in trouble for stealing instead of him. I know that people who let other people take the blame for them are mean. So the inference I'm going to make is that Benny is mean. So now we're going to try one on our own. You're going to have your comic strip where you're going to read, reread to circle and underline, describe using this sentence starter, and then circle the character traits that describe Benny as a character. So you're going to do that using Nearpod. We are going to be starting that right now.